Hi folks, I don't know how well you could see those, but we got the snow flurry thing going on here today. So, okay, I think you can kind of see it, right? Well, let's assume you can see it. So it's about 1:30. It is October 18th, 2015, 43.6 degrees Fahrenheit, 6.2 degrees centigrade, 46% humidity. My batteries are charged up there. And this one says Sunday. Welcome to Sunday, 43. So I wanted to show you the snow flurries. What I did with the air conditioner, and yeah, you guys could see them snow flurries coming down, right? It's actually snowing pretty good out. None of this is gonna stick, it's too warm. Finished hooking up the heat pump. You can see my stuff is still out here. And what I did with it was I put 350 psi in the system. I pumped it up with nitrogen. You can see the nitrogen bottle lying there. And I left it overnight. So it probably had that on there, I don't know, 12 hours or so. I mean, look at this. And it didn't leak out any at all. It just seemed to stay on there. So then I evacuated it, left the pump run on there, probably, I don't know, 2 hours, 2 and change. Man, it's snowing to beat the band. Look at this. I'm in a snow squall. So it's even look on the ground, it's even piling up a bit. Let's go back inside, get out of the wind and the snow. Anyhow, so last night pumped it up to 350 psi and I let it sit overnight. Didn't lose anything, probably about 16 hours. Right, maybe like even a tad longer. Then I let it. I bled that off, and then I pumped on it for 2 hours, and very quickly took the vacuum line off so it doesn't suck any atmosphere in. So I took that off real quick. And then I opened up the 2 valves, let it stabilize a half hour. You can hear things hissing around a bit as, the Freon moved around a little. Then I fired it up, and it seemed to take a few minutes to kind of figure things out. I guess probably back to the Freon moving around inside. And I also didn't realize every time you kind of monkey with the remote control, it especially if you're just putting power to it, it takes a couple of minutes to make a decision on if you're serious about what you're asking it to do, so it doesn't do anything instantly, especially once again when you first put power to the unit. Anyway, after a few minutes, it figured out what I was up to, and it started blowing heat, and it very quickly warmed up the inside. Inside is whisper quiet. Outside, you can hear it's whisper quiet. So far, I'm very, very happy with the unit. I'd like to say I was completely thrilled with it, but let's let it go through a season and see what it does to my electricity bill and everything else. But you guys can see it's fairly cold out, right? 40, I mean, not cold. It goes down to 0 here and below. But at 45, it's virtually doing nothing and heating up the major part of the lower house, right? The sunroom is 24 by, or the living room is 24 by 24, and it's blowing into the kitchen. The kitchen's like 15 by 20, and then the dining room's smaller, maybe 12 by 15. Maybe they're 12 by 14 and 14 by 20. Let's go with it that way. Something like that for those two big rooms. Anyway, so it's heating up that whole area. No sweat at all. So I'm happy. I'm happy. Hopefully it behaves itself. Failures for these things, right? You have the early fails where you have a board go or something like that just because, they perhaps didn't build everything with the best electronics. Let's hope that doesn't happen. The second failure is if you don't evacuate them, you have moisture and all that stuff in them, you end up with corrosion. I evacuated and backfilled like 4 times, so I shouldn't have that problem. There should be no moisture in there. I backfilled with nitrogen each time, so it should be really, really good. The expansion and contraction of the joints, if you have them copper and copper without that sealant / lubricant on them, theoretically the copper could get damaged from that cycling. That takes a while. That could take years, but I did that right. So I'm thinking, as long as the house don't get struck by lightning, I should have a good run with this air conditioner. So there we are. Mostly this is about the snow, but seeing as I've just spent a bunch of the day inside, kind of, figuring out the remote control and everything else on the air conditioner and watching it actually heat the place up, watching the thermometers and thermostats and all, I figured I'd take a moment and talk about it here. Anyway, folks, I want to thank you all for watching and commenting and subscribing. Now that that's done, we can start moving forward on some other stuff, like getting the backhoe into the garage where it belongs. Remember to keep your feet down, keep your head up, and guys, remember to enjoy all your days. Every day is a gift from God, so go out there and enjoy that gift, eh? Bye now.